Hi, this is Zach Meir with the Bulletin Board Heroes here at Zach's Traders Cafe for Thursday, the 3rd of July. Starting off with the FTSE 100, where the 50-day line's caught up with the floor of the range at 8,700, which is expected to be the support. We're just trying to get through not necessarily recent resistance at 8,800, but actually the 8820 level above that, looking for 9020, and the top of that rising trend channel from last year, the spring of last year, and hoping to hit that by the end of this month. At the moment, any dip towards that 50-day line regarded as a buying opportunity. The other point to note is that the RSI is in a good place at 55, so just above neutral 50, and we've had two clear bounces off that, which tends to be a leading indicator on the upside. Moving along to the DAX, which has been slightly on the back foot of late, but still bouncing at that 50-day line at 23,600. That's above the old March resistance at 23,500. We've had an RSI 50 rebound as well, so looking for this market still to try and get up to the 25,000 zone by the end of this month while we're above that 50-day line. Worst case scenario is we're going to retest the 23,100 area, last month's support zone. The Dow was next, and it was on to a sort of flying start for July. And here, presumably, an advanced celebration of the July the 4th celebrations in the air. Here you can see that we've broken through the March resistance there, 44,000 above that. We're looking not only for the highs of the year at 45,000, but actually up to the top of that rising trend channel, 47,500, possibly by the end of this month, but I suppose more logically, or more in terms of risk, more certain to get there by the end of next month. On the downside, worst case would be a test of the June resistance around 43,100. The Bitcoin situation is next, and here it's still the same issue of why this market is dithering, or has been dithering, when we've got all those people buying into Bitcoin. But you can see actually we've broken that resistance line there from May at 109, which is what we wanted to do. Obviously, the 112,000 peak is in sight now, and looking for up to 125,000 at the top of that March 2024 trend channel. Ideally, by the end of this month, we've had an RSI 50 rebound, and so above that 50-day line 106, looking for 125 as soon as the end of this month. Hopefully, things are starting to move. Gold is next, and here the position is that we've managed to get back, crawl back inside the rising March trend channel. We had a rug pull there, 2-day rug pull, but the 50-day line there around 33.20, above that, looking for at least 34.50, which is the April resistance line. Best case scenario up to 3800 by the end of next month. RSI back above neutral 50 at 53, which helps, and that candle from the end of June, the 30th of June, a very strong one. So, like, there was a lot of interest below 3,300. On to the pound, where we had the crying chancellor yesterday. I'm not quite sure. Nobody's quite sure exactly why she was crying, but it's done very well in terms of getting the pound up from the January lows towards 121. Current situation, as I think we said before, we're looking for $101.40 while we're above the 133 area, and that we're still on course for that. RSI at 57, so after yesterday's little rug pull, we are actually ready to go back up again. You can see the old resistance from last month around 138.60, and that's certainly in play at the moment. Rising 50 and 200-day lines as well, and I suppose the overall situation here is that the pound is almost certainly being helped by the expectation that interest rates are not really going down at all. Moving on to the stocks, and it was a very substantial RNS from Alien Metals today, very impressive. It shows that the company is not just one of these sort of subscale earth scratchers. Potential here with a gap off the low and through the 50 and 200-day lines at 0.08 to head up to as high as 0.18 by the end of next month. Ideally, we stay on the right side of the 200-day line there, which is 0.09 ahead of a move to the upside. Anemoi is next, and here one of the Bitcoin brigade, and you can see that we've had a bit of consolidation. Looks like this proper support there around 1 3/4 pence. I suppose fundraisers permitting. we can head back up to at least the third target we had there before, around 3.6 pence, perhaps by the end of this month. Obviously, now with Bitcoin jumping, it might give these Bitcoin treasury strategy companies a second wind. RSI, multiple bounces there at neutral 50, so that is a good look. Moving along to the situation at Ascent Resources, and here, good news on the situation with the arbitration for the company. So that looks great. Market so far not really factoring in any of that good news at all until today with a 17% rise. Initial target here towards the 50-day moving average there at 0.65. Maybe we'll get that by the end of this month. RSI has been right on the ground, so around the 10 level out of 100. It's ultra oversold. It doesn't take much to push up a stock when it's in that kind of technical position. Stock which is trying to get off the ground as well at the moment is African Pioneer. Here we're in the falling trend channel from November, but nice double bounce there for the RSI at 50, breaking through the 50-day moving average, opening at the lows and close when it's currently at the high of the day. So looking for the 1 penny area maybe by the end of next month. Initial resistance to the top of the gap there at 0.87, and obviously like to see the shares remain above, at least on the right side of 0.6, ahead of a possible move to the upside. Don't normally look at Crystal Amber Fund, but what a chart it's had and what a steady ascent it has had as well. Rising trend channel here from way back in 2023, the summer of 2023. Top of the channel there at £1.70. We're looking for that by the end of this month, and also looking to see what the market cap is there, 88 million. So I suppose it gets to the top of the channel, have a market cap close to 100 million. Upside valid while we're above the latest gap floor there at 135, which should not be a problem. Probably we're going to stay above the top of the gap, 139. Next on the list is a stock called E-Star Resources, and here you can see that we've got a bounce off the 200-day line for the shares, pushed to RSI 50 as well. So it looks as though something's happening here. RSI, the 50-day moving average rather, at 1.36, rising well, and we're looking for the top of the range and the top of the channel there, up to 1.75 pence by the end of this month. Does look as though things are stirring positively. Already stirring positively is Eurasia with its dual listing news, and here you can see that we've broken through recent resistance around the 5 pence area. Above that, looking for, as promised before, up to 8 pence, and we might even get that by the end of this month. RSI 50 rebound and rising 50 and 200-day moving averages as well, which is a good look to suggest that we are back on our way to the upside. Onto ITM Power, where you can see by the all the lines that have been drawn there, this stock has delivered many targets. The first one was around 35, second 43, third 57, 70, and now we're at the 85 pence target. We're above that, in fact. The final target is £1, and that was the old resistance from 2023. So let's see if we can get to that by the end of this month. I think that would be a good thing to happen. RSI has been above the neutral 50 level continuously since the beginning of May, which is impressive indeed. Onto Mkango, which is the stock of the day by quite some distance. The word NASDAQ mentioned and everything else. You can see the shares were so strong that they actually blew through the top of the channel there that I drew before at 26 pence. That was the technical target. So looking for that, obviously, that to be revisited over coming days. If you're a fan of the shares and looking for a greater glory, or greater glory than that, the next level up could be towards is the upper parallel of that rising trend channel, and also the old 2021 resistance zone at 35 pence. Hopefully we can get to that by the end of this month, while we're on the right side of the recent support there at around 20.5 pence. Haven't heard a lot from Powerhouse Energy for a long time, but today's RNS looks better than we've had in terms of announcements, better news than we've had for a long time. Looks like we're in a rising trend channel base, top of the channel there at 0.63. Hoping for that as a target for the end of July. That would also fill the gap there towards 0.6 as well. So hopefully above the 50-day line there at 0.5, looking for 0.65 on Powerhouse. Serious looking RNS from Rockfire today, and here looks like the big guns are backing it in terms of its flagship project. Here you can see we've broken out of that falling wedge there and broken above the 50-day moving average at 0.09, looking initially for the 200-day moving average at 0.11 or 0.12 by the end of this month. But the key here is that we can get north of 0.1 and show that the shares are turning around in a serious way. The coverage of Smarter Web has been that it looked like a break of 255 pence could lead the shares to 350 to £4. The high today, 375. So I think you can't get more accurate than that. Current situation is that we've got yesterday's close around 304. Above that, still looking for we're looking for a retest of that 375 pence area. I suppose if Michael Saylor is in the mix here, then a retest of the 600 pence level by the end of next month would not be impossible, especially given the way that it looks as though Bitcoin is on a new leg to the upside. RSI here bounced just below neutral 50. That was a leading indicator on the upside. So the charting on the upside again has been absolutely spot on. Moving along to Wishbone, which is trading in the wake of the fundraise of 1.75 million. The shares have been promised here to go up to as high as 0.5 pence, and decent rise today off the old target, which was 0.28. Above that, looking for up to 0.29, looking up to 0.5 pence still by the end of this month. That's it for me today. More updates tomorrow.